GG33 podcast live from sunny Isles and Dubai. Today we have a special guest. We have a man who was actually canceled. This man would have been a billionaire and they canceled him. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about everything that came into it. But before we do, Carlos, tell the people who you are and just give them a general overview of what you do.
How you doing, my brother? Well, listen, I am Carlos. I am 33 since 3 days ago, actually. And,
age 33, correct?
Yeah, now I'm 33, and
good, right there, brother.
This whole ordeal when I was 15 years old. There you go. When I was 15 years old, I started doing all kinds of companies and investing my money, losing it, winning it. I lived 1,000 lives in one life. I've lived all over the world. I've lived in LA, New York, Austin, Germany, France, Spain, London. I've lived everywhere. And I've seen everything that the world has to offer. And that means that I have also lived very fast. I also have a child. I mean, I've lived very, very quick, And yeah, that leads me to where I am today, which is I'm sitting here in Dubai with my brother and my other brother, which also happens to be our assistant and do everything for us, doing all kinds of businesses as I've always done and living life to the fullest, enjoying every second.
Of all the places you've been, besides Dubai, give me the top three.
Well, I got to tell you, Dubai is definitely by far the
That's what I said, besides Dubai. Dubai is paradise. Dubai was founded in the snake year, so we know it's good. So besides Dubai, give me top three. You've been everywhere.
Bro, I'm allergic to socialists. So my problem with
we'll get along very well.
No, but really, I'm really allergic, my bro. Like, so I would normally say I enjoy New York because of the ambitious, type of people that you will be meeting there, and there's always a lot of opportunity in terms of business and the like. I used to like LA for the same reason. It's just I'm somebody that thrives when it's time to conquer, and you can conquer. When you play poker with an ace and a queen, ace and a king. Like when you play with the best cards is when I enjoy life the most. And of course, those countries in those cities that have the most amount of billionaires around you and really successful people around you will give you the best hand to play poker with. So yeah, I would say any place in Europe just fucking sucks if your intent is to conquer the world. I always say Europe is to spend the money, not to make it.
Okay. When it comes to LA and New York, I think what you're describing, you would have liked in the 80s and the 90s. That's when they had that culture. When Donald Trump was over there in the real estate market, that was a whole different ballgame. That was actually capitalism. This is not capitalism anymore, so you can't really judge. I got to be honest with you. Down here in Miami, capitalism still exists. It still exists here in Miami. Anyways.
Yeah, I would say ever since Miami became the place to be, actually, all the billionaires from New York that I know at least literally just moved there within their homes that already had or bought homes there. And party there is good. It's just that place lacks the depth that I would look for in a place. But actually, I think Miami is probably the best place in America right now.
I agree.
I would say if your goal is to conquer the world, live a nice life, and have a nice circle of people, probably Miami tends to be the number one place overall.
Miami was founded in the year of the monkey. America was founded in 1776, year of the monkey. It makes sense. A monkey city will thrive in an American country, which was founded under monkey energy. Speaking of that, my friend, you are born 6/15/1990. You are a 4 life path, and you're also born in the year of the horse. And what that tells me is you're an extremely hardworking man. Do you ever rest? How many companies do you actually run? Do you take days off? Tell us everything.
Okay, so that's incredibly accurate. I ever since I can work, I work. And I always say I'm working all the time, because even when I'm not working, even if I'm on a date or I'm with my brother enjoying the beach, or I'm doing something that has nothing to do with work, either I'm doing it so that I can work better later, so I'm just recharging, or I am digesting something that just happened and I need to digest for, just to make the right decision, or I'm thinking about work and only about work. So even when I'm not working, I am working. So it's this 24/7 thing.
Constantly thinking about that bag.
every single time.
Is that the mindset it takes? Because you were almost there at that billionaire level. I know billionaires, they're all hungry as hell. So is that the mindset it takes?
Yes, 100%, brother. I don't think it's possible to be a billionaire at this point in time unless you just live for the bag. I really think, and by the way, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, I enjoy it so much. I'm considering myself so fucking happy, bro. And that is because chasing that bag.
Of course you're happy. You got a big bag.
Yeah, but I was happy when I had nothing, bro. I grew up eating 50-cent lasagnas, and I was as happy. Okay, maybe not as happy as now, because now I have access to everything I want in life. But I was very happy back then, and I'm very happy right now. But what keeps me happy is to always have something to work towards, you know? So, you know, what you said, as a result of what happened, and we'll talk about that later, I think, but as a result of what happened, my path to billionaire just maybe takes a little longer, or not, because ever since that shit happened, the amount of different paths that opened for me to become a billionaire even earlier than I initially thought would be possible is astronomical. And that is why, because I am always thinking about how to conquer. And nowadays, conquest is not about physical conquest of villages and go there and burn the place down. And no, not right now. Conquest is about...
You can't raid and pillage anymore, can you?
You can't raid. Exactly. You can't raid a village anymore. So the only way to raid a village is create companies, make money, show to other men, and this is what I'm driven by, to show to other men that I am better than them. And it's almost like a mini game for me. I enjoy it, really.
Wow, you tell the truth, don't you? You're what they call a true terrorist. So this man wants you to know he is better than you. But in a sense, what he's trying to do is motivate you to be better than himself, because if you're at this man's level, he can't talk down to you. But you got to get there first, correct?
That's exactly right, brother. That's exactly right.
You know, a lot of people in this world, and especially the younger generation, they all have egos. You have an ego. I have an ego. But we earned it. We're the best at our chosen profession. Other people, these young kids growing up, I got no problem with ego. Just do something first. That's it. You got to do brother, something first.
Right now, ego is so looked down upon. And I think it's because those in power just don't want you to have ego. But I think the best thing you can do to better the world is to have ego. And I say that from a position of someone that I am just as ambitious as I am humble, right? So on one end, I know I am the number one. On the other hand, I know in order to remain the number one, I have to continue learning from people that know more than me about certain topics, right? And so Makes sense. Combination of both is what I think, and that is the healthy ego that I think everybody needs, you know? You cannot make the world a better place if you don't make yourself better. You cannot make the world a better place if you don't have insane amounts of self-respect. You can't make the world a better place unless you look the part, you dress the part. That's the way I think about life. You speak the part, you conquer the part. You know, I think that everything is part of the same concept, you know, that you have to follow consistently.
One thing I always tell people is no poor man ever changed the world while he was alive. Those are straight facts.
That's very true.
You know, some people did it after they died. They became martyrs, but no poor man ever changed the world while he was alive. And what that basically means is if you have a passion to do something, get that bag first, and then you can fulfill your passion. That's the logical way of going about things. Would you not agree?
That's completely right, brother. That's completely right. And I would say, you know, many people think that ego equals arrogance, but actually arrogance, when somebody is arrogant, they actually lack the ego necessary to not be arrogant. Let me explain why. Somebody that's arrogant automatically believes that there's nothing they can improve on, or just don't want to take any feedback or criticism. And somebody that doesn't want to take feedback, criticism, or to improve, automatically you automatically know he doesn't have enough self-respect, because somebody that doesn't question constantly their belief system or doesn't question constantly where they can improve on will not be number one. So when somebody
at least not for long
doesn't take, it's not going to stay for long. That is a fact, you know. So I don't believe in arrogant people. In fact, I try to stay away from them as much as possible. But I have learned to differentiate very well what is the kind of guy that tends to be very mouthful. I don't know if that's a word. Like, just likes to talk a lot. Some people like to talk a lot, but they still have their ego in check and they still have the knowledge to back it up. These people I trust.
Okay.
But people that just speak big, doesn't take any criticism, when they hear a different mindset, they don't even try to open their mind to see what they can improve on. I think these people don't stay on top for too long.
Okay, let me ask you a few questions before we start going a little bit more personal, a little bit more into your life and your history. I know quite a few billionaires. You definitely know quite a few billionaires. There's about 3,300 billionaires worldwide on any given time. Take 100, give or take. Do you know any billionaires who are very humble?
I think the word humility is understood by the world different than I understand it, right? I think that somebody humble is somebody, in my eyes, that is always willing to learn from someone else, always
That's definitely not the definition, brother. That is not the definition.
What's the definition?
So here's basically what I'm trying to say. When there's two type of people who the world consists of as egotistical, and people who believe they are extremely humble. From what I have perceived from talking on the phone to various people, from going to dinner with various people of that stature, almost everyone at the 10-figure level, the billionaire level, has an ego, and a very, very healthy ego, I might add. They're willing to learn from others. Here's the difference. The people who got their money, who are trust fund babies, they're not the same. It's the first generation who made that money, who's hungry. They're willing to learn. The trust fund babies, not so much. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Well, basically, I think the worst thing that can happen to a man is to grow with a father that gives them everything, and once the father dies, it all goes to the children. I think that's the worst thing a man can have in his life, because before becoming a man, to have that amount of cash that you have not earned yourself is very dangerous. Like, those people end up gambling it all, or addicted to drugs, paying for sex, and doing all kinds of pathetic shit that end up alcoholics or whatever it is. All of it pathetic.
Would you do what Donald Trump's dad do? Would you do what Trump's dad did? Send him to military school?
Well, how I take care of my children will be very special to me and what I believe in. My children, my little boys, will be doing karate and all kinds of combat sports. Maybe judo or stuff like that early on. They will not get shit from me. The only thing they will get is my knowledge. I will be very happy to show them the ways from the moment they are 12 years old onwards. They will do all kinds of jobs for me for free. They will be my little slaves, and they have to be okay with it. And that's how it works. And when they are old enough, they're still not going to get money from me. They will learn how to make their own life, because I would hate myself for taking away their ability to make themselves from almost nothing. Because there is nothing more beautiful for a man than to be self-made. I walk through life with an insane amount of pride. And it's not fake pride. It's actually true pride. I deployed what my parents taught me and my own experiences, and I built myself up from nothing. And that level of pride cannot be accomplished through anything else in life. So why would I take that away from my children? That would be terrible.
What about daughters? Would you treat your daughters the same way?
No. Maybe it's a mistake, but I don't think it is. I think that, man's energy and woman's energy are very different.
Correct.
And what I would consider a successful man and what I would consider a successful woman would imply very different things. A successful man is somebody that wants to conquer the world, is ambitious, is always looking for the next thing. Even when they have everything, they want more. Is somebody that is also, has his emotions in check. It's a different kind of energy. Woman's energy is much more emotional, up and down. It's like a butterfly, that just flies everywhere and enjoys life. And the least amount of problems, my daughters go through before the real problems come, the better. That's why I would like them to grow up having everything money can buy and enjoying life in its maximum form, among other reasons, because I don't want them to end up being with some fucking loser that that is unable to build a family with them and take care of them.
I get it. You know, one thing I always tell people is I don't really pray to God or anything. I know there's a God. I just don't pray. I know he's out there. But one thing I'm very thankful for is I don't have daughters and I have 2 sons. Because if I actually had a daughter and she looked anything like her mother, I would have a chastity belt around this girl. I have the key around my neck and it would be Mortal Kombat. So that's one of the things I'm really thankful for, that I do not have a daughter. But yes, I probably would treat my daughter differently than I would treat my sons. I have noticed one thing. I have noticed one thing. I've noticed a lot of good women come from very wealthy families, very respectable, not like the whores you see in the average Western culture, but very respectable people. I've also seen very poor women, but they weren't westernized. They were usually from, a predominantly Muslim country or something like that, where they actually instill values, or maybe a country in the West that's very religious and Christian, but the main countries like France, no.
It was about self-respect, and the problem of self-respect is that when you have to fight for survival, then sometimes humans will sacrifice self-respect to attain that survivability, that means do anything they can
for the money. So they'll give away their respect, and they'll basically sell out. They'll basically sell out. So for instance, they might not believe in bow and rights, but because someone's giving them money, who's a sponsor, they'll wave that flag over there and they'll be like, yay, but they don't even believe in the stuff themselves.
Well, that is definitely part of it. Another part of it is that they will just be more inclined to not have their own belief system and to just follow the group, follow the group thinking, and that is one of the most dangerous things that can happen.
The hive mind.
The hive mind, because you start getting recognition and acceptance from a group without doing anything for it. Just because you have now a special pronoun, now you are an accepted and loved human. When in reality, what makes you an accepted and loved human could be the way you are, not not that you added a pronoun in there that automatically puts you in a group of people. I think that it's a very lazy way to become accepted by humanity, to do any of this. The way I believe the world should work is by meritocracy. If you do good things for the world recognizes your deeds and accepts you, respects you, and you thrive in that world. The same happens with women. Self-respect in women has always been looked up to for generations. Women have been, just like men, equally respected throughout the years, especially those women with high levels of self-respect. And so have men. I think that that is going away now, and people are forgetting that a merit-based society is what makes a society work.
My friend, I'm a man who's been married for almost 20 years. Got 2 kids.
Good for you,
I'm one who believes in marriage and stuff like that. But when I go around and I see what's going around in today's society, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, what I see is at least here in Western culture, I see single mothers raising kids, not being around men because they have jobs, they have stress, and because they have more stress and they think about jobs and how to make ends meet, they become more masculine. And when they become more masculine, men don't actually want them. So what happens is these single mothers raise these kids, and these kids end up being beta males, or even more, even homosexuals, because of the propaganda in schools and no masculine energy around them. And this is a cycle that continues, because the more beta males are created, the more the yin yang, the more the paradigm shifts, and there's more masculine females. Notice you're not having this problem in the Islamic world because the men are still masculine there, so the women will stay more subservient. Does that make sense to you, sir?
It's all part of the, yes, it's all part of the agenda of those in power to ensure that both the men and women are working out of home, that the children are raised by the state. That's pretty much that's the dream of every totalitarian regime, is to be able to raise the children and even take control over them. We've seen what's happening right now in California, obviously. Is the first of many, and I don't think the West is going to get any better. I don't think the pushback is going to happen to the extent it's needed, and I think that the only solution is to retreat to the East. I think that values are going to die out quickly. I think that eventually religion will be outlawed in the West, just because religion promotes a belief system that's healthy, regardless which religion you're talking about. Most religions promote a belief system and a moral compass that's good for the purpose of
that might be true, my friend, but about 300 years ago, I would have been burned at the stake as a heretic because I believe in astrology and numerology. So, you know, the pendulum always swings.
But at no point, but bro, the Quran, the Torah, the Bible never said anywhere that somebody that looks at numbers and tries to make sense of them within the context of the universe should be burned at the stake. This is people that use religion as a means to attain more power, and they do these kind of things to continue attaining power. But ultimately, anybody that understands the world at a somewhat deep level will agree with you that God made the universe, coded the universe in a way where numbers are present everywhere. There's complex formulas, some of which we understand, most of which we don't, that clearly determine the way the universe works. And those are all based on numbers. Yeah, the fact that you would have been burned at the stake many years ago doesn't mean that religions were against what you're talking about. Religions agree with you in full, you know?
What the point was is the pendulum swings, and right now religion is falling back, except for one religion. And the one religion that right now is growing is Islam. Now, it is my belief that because we're in the age of Aquarius and religion is more and so kind of dying down, and that's true when it comes to every single other, I believe Islam is special for two reasons. Number one, I think it's more of a political ideology than most other religions. And the second is I believe it's the counterbalance to the. So while the is growing on one side, Islam, the counterbalance, is going to grow on the other side. And I firmly believe this, brother. Within about 2 decades, Islam will cleanse the, and people can interpret that any way they want.
Yeah, I don't have enough knowledge to say whether that's going to happen or not. But what I can tell you is that.
Do you know what Gaddafi said? Before Gaddafi passed away, he said, "We will win because of our women. We will win because of our wombs." In the 2015 refugee crisis, which happened basically because of NATO's war, all those refugees went to Europe. 98% of them were Muslim. When immigrants come to different countries, they usually become on a little bit more of the poorer side. So the demographics go up. They have more and more kids. Within a couple generations, the demographic changes. And as the demographics changes, the law and what people believe in that nation changes. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, I mean, theoretically that makes sense. But when you look at the problems the Western world has, I don't think you can attribute them to those people that came in those countries 20 years ago.
I'm saying they're going to be the ones doing the cleansing. Their kids are going to be the ones doing the cleansing. What are you talking about, man? No.
You know, when I see Muslims staying strong in the West with all this bullshit happening at the moment, it just makes me very happy to see, because they're reminding the other religions, you know, what it's like to fight for what you believe in, you know. So I do think there's a lot of positive in there, you know.
I'm not a religious man. I am Jewish, but I am not a religious man at all. I know there's a higher power. I have my own relationship with it, but it's not one where I pray and stuff like that. But I will tell you this. Some people need something to fear, to do the right thing. I don't need the Bible to tell me not to cheat on my wife. I don't need the Quran to tell me not to steal. Yet some people need that. They need to fear something, because if they don't have something to fear, they go out there and they do bad things. Some people don't have that moral compass. And I believe if people, I believe if people were privileged like me, not because of my white skin, but privileged because I had a mother and a father, as everyone like me was, I believe that that would change society for the better. But that's exactly what you said before. The people in positions of power, they don't want that. They want to break up the family, because when you break up the family, you have one place to turn: big daddy government. The end goal is to take the kids away from the woman at birth. Because if you start brainwashing the kid at birth, guess what? You'll never have rebellion, no matter how smart these kids are. One thing I did in my life, one thing I'm proud of, everyone's proud of something. One thing I'm proud of is, in this Western culture where they try to propagate garbage on you all the time to insinuate to break the family, I made sure my wife was home to breastfeed my kids. She didn't have to work, because I, as a man, made enough money to take care of that. Because I did that, she could breastfeed her kids, my kids. And what that does is that increases people's IQ level. What happens when a woman works? That means the state takes care of the kids and they're getting formula. People have to put their priorities, and men have to become men and actually take care of women. If they do that, guess what, brother? We're going to have a lot more of a kumbaya world.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all. Whatever your relationship with God is, and I meditate since I'm 17 years old, so that's correct. 16 years meditating. Yeah, and the reason why I know with 100% certainty that God exists is because I have seen God, right? And I don't want people to misunderstand my statement, but when you meditate for very, very long, you become one with your consciousness very quickly. It takes me a few minutes, and I know that when I have questions that my logical brain cannot answer, I meditate on it, and it eventually comes to me. And I know this is every time my instinct, my gut feeling is telling me something, I know it doesn't come from my logical thinking, but it comes from somewhere else. And I can tell you 1,000 things that just lead to the same conclusion. Whether you connect with God through doing yoga, praying, doing your Friday Juma, or going to church, or whatever it is, you're connecting. We're all connecting with the same source, because we're all similar, and that source gives us the answers to every question. And at the same time, that source allows us to build a moral compass that everybody, or mostly everybody, that is in touch with God agrees on that moral compass, regardless of what the religious background is. Everybody agrees with that same moral compass, with the same set of beliefs. Very, very similar. Why is that? Because once you connect with God, you realize and you understand what good is and what bad is. So yeah, again, the way you connect with God does not matter. At the end, if you are in touch with it, and if you are a relatively spiritual person and you spend time alone thinking and connecting with your higher self, eventually you come to conclusions that, common denominator conclusions.
Yeah, well, listen, God exists. All you have to do is start understanding this is basically a virtual reality. Numerology and astrology did cheat codes. If you understand this, you have to understand that someone created this thing. Someone created this, and it's way beyond humans. Okay, so yes, there is a higher power. There's no doubt about that. I don't want people to think that this is possible without some kind of prime creator. Now, if you want to question whether the prime creator is benevolent, that's a whole different story. But he exists, or it exists. I shouldn't say he. It exists. This source, the prime creator, is out there. The ether is out there. And one thing I will tell people, be the best at whatever you do, and everything's going to fall into place, man. That's some of the 100%. Best advice I can give people. So, brother, listen.
And when you have no idea, what's next for you, when you have no idea, you feel with a purpose, I always recommend one thing and one thing only. Spend every day from now on, every single day of your life, spend 10 minutes in quietness. Make sure nobody's there to piss you off.
Yeah, but you're a horse, dude. But see, this is what I'm going to tell you. You're a horse. You're born in a horse year. That's going to work for you. That's the same way Kobe was. He didn't have friends. He only had a couple people he ran with, and he blocked out all the noise. Right. So that's how horses operate. So that's how you operate. For other people, it's all different things. So and that's what you learn numerology and astrology for, man. Again, you want to know another horse? Mike Tyson. So you know these guys are straight up fighters. So listen, brother, we talked a little bit about this. I want people to get a good round, you know, about your political views. People now understand you're not a leftist. You're not a socialist. You're one of the good guys.
People always understood. People always understood.
Well, my audience now understands that perfectly clear. So now I want to get into the real sauce. My friend, you got canceled. And before we go any further, we have to bring this up. This is not going to be an Andrew Tate hit piece. I don't like the man, but, you know, there's a difference between men and women. And the difference is if a woman doesn't like you, she's going to hate everything about you, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you dress, what you do. As men, we can not disagree with each other and have strong feelings of dislike or hate for each other, but still respect people for what they think and honestly agree with a lot of stuff they say. So having said that, we now have to talk about you and what happened to you. My friend, you got canceled, and you specifically got canceled because of your relationship with Mr. Tate. Can you please explain what the hell happened?
Yeah. So first of all, just because I don't want this to come off as hypocritical or anything like that. Obviously, if we were talking about you know, physical fight or something of that sort, then it will be different. But we're talking about, you know, whatever issues you guys had together. I honestly, I don't know what happened. And honestly, I can't care less.
Nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you.
Yeah. But my point is, I think that, and you said it very well, you know, male energy and female energy are very different in this case. And I also think that two men I would respect, maybe those two men don't get along. Because sometimes two alpha men might actually butt heads. And, you know, you might see this, imagine when a conqueror on one end and a conqueror on the other end are just battling, you know. And of course, you know, they're battling to the death and one of them might die. But those two men, which you might still respect, might hate their guts just because they're both wanting to conquer the same piece of land. You know, so to me, that is just part of nature, you know, so it's okay for me.
Again, respect is respect. People might not like what Napoleon, they respect what he did. People might not like Genghis Khan, they respect what he did. That's so right. Again, men and women are very different. Having said that, we got that out the way. Now, why did you get canceled, sir? Please go into detail about how a man gets canceled for a relationship with somebody. That doesn't even make sense.
Oh, so first of all, let me preface this by saying the gaming community are just a bunch of cucks and soft people. They don't go often outside, so they have very little understanding of how the world operates in real life. This is not people that you tend to respect when you meet them in person, at large, okay? So the problem with all of this is people hide behind their online persona online, and you know their anonymous persona online and the groups they represent or are a part of. So what happened here is I'm close to the Tates, very good friends with Tristan. I'm friends with Andrew as well. And sometime last year, in one of the times we met, I was in Romania with them, just partying, you know, after a weekend, just talking business and stuff like that. But somebody made a video, like a girl that knew me from my industry made a video from the VIP area we were in, just sitting with other girls and stuff. And so she made a video of me with the Tates. She knew me, she knew the Tates, obviously, and she was there as a whatever, groupie, whatever it is. And she just made a video, right? She posted that video online, and I saw it was getting traction. I was like, an hour after posting, it had like 900 likes. And I'm like, oh shit. Well, here's something about me. I hate elephants in the room. I hate to feel like I'm hiding something from the people. So what did I do? I said, this is becoming a little large. So I'm going to download the video and I'm going to post it myself. just so that people don't think I'm just hiding from the world and they just, you know. So, and I posted it myself. Yo, whatever. I just put a funny copy in the tweet. And holy shit, bro. Like, holy shit. It was like chaos. When I mean chaos, I mean chaos. I'm talking about 400 WhatsApp messages. I'm talking about emails, Twitter DMs, Instagram DMs, calls all the time, call from numbers I didn't even know. I had to do this thing where you automatically cancel calls from numbers you don't know, like really stuff like this. And chaos. All the people telling me you cannot do this, you have to apologize, you have to say
apologize for what?
Anyway, okay, I'm gonna get there. And so day after, okay, this, you know, it keeps going, you know. And I make a tweet that says, or not day after, later in the day, I'm like, I party or I'm friends with whoever the fuck I want. Like nobody can police my friendships, you know? And whoa, the chaos multiplied by 10, right? Everybody's saying you're gonna lose everything. They're gonna sue you to death. They're gonna, you know what I mean? Like it was really chaos. When I mean chaos, I mean really chaos. I worked 17 years, Gary, to build my reputation and credibility to a point where anybody that knows my name knows that if you invest in my companies, you will make money. I always made people hundreds of millions of dollars. This is what I do. And I'm the best at my job. I'm the best at building communities. I'm the best at building communities within the world of video games, entertainment, and media distribution. I am the #1 at this. And everything was down the drain just because I partied with somebody they don't like. So everything happened so quickly.
Hold on. Let me push back for 1 second. You're telling me someone took a video of you with the Tates somewhere partying one time and you saw it, a lot of likes, fuck it, I'm going to retweet it too. And because of that, people start coming out the woodwork saying they're going to sue you? Sue you over what?
I posted the video later myself, but yes, in short, yes, correct. Sue you, but because in the Western world, especially America, they can sue you for anything. And damages is such a great word that, you know, you can sue anybody, and with the right set of lawyers, you can create enough problems for anybody.
So basically,
I deal with billionaires, you know.
So basically, hold on. So basically, because of your relationship with somebody, they're going to say that's going to ruin their image. Because okay, I see where this is going. This is a bunch of lawyer talk.
Exactly, and ultimately, you know, thankfully, nobody can fuck me. Like me and my brother Assad, we have a slogan that says nobody fucks us. And the reason nobody fucks us is because we're too intelligent for this shit. No billionaire can fuck me. And I know exactly everything from A to Z pertaining the companies I've created and pertaining the shareholder agreements and things of that nature. I've done everything to the T to ensure that whatever happens, they can still all suck my dick. And so ultimately, anyway, day after, I had to cancel my trip to New York. I had a conference. I had to cancel it, and I had to go back home because everything was burning. Everything was burning, you know. And brother, it was unbelievable how in the course of 24 hours, my life changed. I was facing that either I step down or the company will go through immense losses that would actually bankrupt the company unless I put in there $10+ million to make it operate. You name it, so many problems. Sponsors would drop. A lot of agreements would be down the drain because in some of these agreements there are clauses that basically, you know, the word damages.
So basically, Cernovich has been hanging out with this guy. Donald Trump Jr. is hanging out with this guy. You know, you hang out with him and you get burned, completely burned, because people on the left.
In this day and age, brother.
This is crazy.
In this day and age,
this is crazy.
I know, but this is what it is. You know, in the video games world, where everybody is a socialist, borderline communist, if not communist, actually. Probably 90% of the people that play video games vote Democrat and are leftists.
That's funny because the 5% of people who make video games are capitalists and conservatives. So again, capitalism wins again.
You'll be surprised, bro. Right now, all the developers and all these publishers are all very, 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 very leftist. Very leftist. Like, it really gotten to a point where community managers, developers, everything surrounding video games is very, very leftist, yeah? And so the problem is that when these companies, multinational companies, corporations, we had a lot of amazing sponsorship that I closed over the years. All of these people need to cater to the world. And, you know, the same way you see some of these guys doing, getting AI, TV, Q plus influencers. Well, the same way for gaming companies. They have to cater to that kind of people, right? So then the problem is that they have to cater to them in full. So when somebody like me, who is the king of gaming, does something like this, they have to make a motherfucker out of me. And they will do anything to make a motherfucker out of me. They will do absolutely anything to ruin me so that I can just disappear into nothingness away from gaming. Just to tell the world, listen, motherfuckers, this is what happens when you are too far from the group.
So they basically want to make an example of you to show other people what 100%. Happens.
Okay. 100%. This guy has been so successful for 17 years. He Ferrari, Lamborghinis, blah blah blah. Blah. Yeah, we have to fuck him.
I see.
We have to fuck him. So he's right leaning. He believes that men should be held accountable for their own self growth, should be responsible, and blah blah blah. He agrees with the ideas of this. You know. He must be made an example out of, because we don't want these people to succeed. People need to know you need to be a leftist cunt to succeed in this industry.
So basically, when it comes down to it, you have a whole bunch of beta males attacking you the only way they know how, through technology.
That's right. That's at the end what it ends up boiling into. But you know what? I was during those days, brother. During those days, the amount of stress was immense. But I like stress. I'll be honest with you, bro. I enjoy when life is like, you know, just like move, just like this, you know. I don't like a life where you know what happens tomorrow.
So you like someone jabbing at you. You wanna be on your toes.
Yes, I like it, bro. I like it. I really like it. I like boxing because I like to get hit. Actually, it might sound stupid, but there's something about the joy.
Didn't we just say Tyson's a horse? Didn't we just say Tyson's a horse? Listen. Let's go back to that day. Let's go back to that day. Hypothetically, if you could change that and make sure that video doesn't go out there. I'm not saying not go out to taste, not party. If you could make sure that video doesn't come out, do you change it? Because obviously it's had a big effect on your life.
Okay, do I change it? Okay, do I not only not change it? Because, okay, let me make this very clear. If I could go back in time and I could just, with a magic wand, change anything, the only thing I would change is that instead of reposting the video of me being with them in the VIP area, I would post that video, then I would post me signing a contract with them about some bullshit. I would just post more. I would do more and worse, and I would just go harder. That's the only thing I would change.
My dude said double down.
It's so unbelievable, my brother. It's like God gave me everything from the moment this happened. And men that go through the hardship, these types of hardships, bro, get given more by life. As long as they keep their moral compass intact and their integrity intact, just more shit comes to them, more good shit comes to them. And ever since then, when I look at my life, I look at my revenue streams, I look at the quality of my circle, I look at the quality of my relationships, my overall happiness in general. I'm living in Dubai, bro. Everything is just smiling to me. I'm really so happy, bro. You can't understand. I wouldn't change anything.
Would you recommend people who want to basically get the best out of life to move to Dubai?
I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. The reason I say I don't know is because I know it works for me, because I know what I like. What do I like? I'm ambitious. I want to conquer the world. I like beautiful things. I like beautiful women. I like beautiful cars. I like to drive one of my Ferraris without a fucking German green cunt spitting on it. which is what happened every time in Germany. I would just bring my car to the club. I leave the club and I see spit everywhere from these fucking people. Okay, these fucking green idiots. So for me, I love this place. It's made for me. I will live here for a long time, inshallah, much longer. Okay, but
Germany did lose 2 wars.
What?
Germany did lose 2 wars.
Oh, they might lose a third one, seeing how things are working out.
Touche, brother. Touche. Let's move on for a second. You've been canceled, my friend. Andrew Tate's been canceled. I have been canceled. Many people have been canceled. What have you done differently because of your cancellation? And what would you tell other people who might still get canceled in the future? Obviously, Twitter is a little bit better. I'm getting my old accounts back. I was canceled 18 times. 18 times on Twitter. 10 of them for telling people not to get. So before we go any further, are you my friend?
Of course not.
Okay.
I'm stupid.
See, yeah, have you noticed something? I only know of all the rich folks I know, I only know one person who got. That's Mark Cuban. Other than Mark Cuban, every single person I know who has a lot of zeros in his bank account was not. Have you found that to be true as well?
Well, I know very powerful people from the Democratic Party and some of the biggest donors of the Democratic Party, which until my cancellation, by the way, were very good friends of mine. And see, keyword until. They did communicate to me that
they didn't get the same jab that people got at the local grocery store. They got a special jab, man. See, you have to understand, man, these people, I talked this, I'll just make this one point and we'll move on. I talked to a person who is extremely powerful, and he said he took the, and I'm like, okay, but he's like, it was a little bit different with me. They flew someone out from New York straight to me to give me a, and he was like, how come I shouldn't just go to the local CVS or local drugstore to get it? And the people at the very top insisted that he get it that way. So I do believe there's different batches, but I'm going to make this abundantly clear. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how educated you are. I don't care what you accomplished in life. If you got, you failed the biggest psyop in not just world history, in human history. You failed. And the only people I feel bad for.
At the same time, brother, at the same time, sorry, man, but you know, I was thinking about this exact thing the other day, man, because I could afford not to get. But if I had a family, I rely on my paycheck to make my family survive. And I would need to get.
No, you wouldn't.
I think I would have. Why? Because we can't judge people from our standpoint, you know? I think that some people, like I told you before, you know, self-respect is not the number one thing for survival. Food is the number one thing for survival. Water is, you know?
Correct.
So when people, when you put food as a problem before honor, self-respect, or your own belief system, you might just do that for your family.
When the government lies to you, it is not your moral responsibility to tell the truth to the government. So what you do if you're a poor person, and I know many people who were poor and did this, you get fake cards. You lie, you do whatever you need to. You do not take short-term money to put an early foot in the grave. So you do what you have to do, sir.
Fair enough.
So, and by the way, I talked many NBA players into going into a doctor's room, throwing 5,000, 10,000 cash down and getting a card, even if they didn't get.
Yeah, I mean, all of us know. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I have my back scarred.
Of course. Of course. Don't we all? Don't we all, man?
Of course. Of course. I'm.
That's what I told many people in the NBA. Do not be vocal like Andrew Wiggins, because then they're going to force you to take the. Just be quiet, say whatever, pay someone off, get your fake card, move on with life, and be thankful you had enough money to bribe someone.
I never understood why Kyrie made such a fuss, considering he has the responsibility to at least not lose his company money. You know, I think for him would have been so easy. Just get the certificate and move on and play basketball.
100%. Well, Kyrie's an 11 life path. He's born 3/23, 1992. People who are 11s do get emotional. You know, Kyrie's mentor was Kobe, born 8/23, 1978, adds up to 38/11. So that was his mentor. And Kobe's mentor was Michael Jordan, born 2/17, 1963, again on 11. So we have 11 Jordan, mentor to 11 Kobe, mentor to 11 Kyrie. And believe me, all these guys know that stuff too. People with certain energy gravitate toward each other, and that's why people who think the same way, people who have the same mindset, they gravitate to each other as well. And speaking of that, my friend, you have something.
Hold on. Before we move, do you know? Ever since I pay attention to numbers, would you believe that the woman I like, even before I talk to them, I know I like them. Even if I see the hairs from the back, 50 meters away, they all end up being similar numbers. How insane is that? I'm talking about very rarely. I'm talking maybe like 5% of the times only. I will be interested in a woman that is not one of those numbers I'm used to seeing them.
You
Even
know,
if it's a bomb, I'm not interested in them.
Yeah, I got you. You know, when people start recognizing numbers themselves, when they start understanding, they look at history and they see the 9/11 happened on the 11th, first plane to hit the World Trade Center's Flight 11, New York City, 11 letters, New York, the 11th state in the union. And they start seeing, okay, this is pattern recognition. Let's see if it goes any further. And then a real person who wants to dig will go into the history books and they'll see the World War I ended on 11/11 at exactly 11 o'clock. They still were firing bullets at each other at 10:55, but 11 it all ended. So, you know, you have to put in the work like anything else. And if you actually look at what happens in society, you can prove that certain numbers act in a certain way throughout history. Wall Street crashed on October 29th, 1929. Again, 2 and 9 is 11. A big catastrophe happened. Al-Qaeda founded on the 11th. 3 main attacks, Spain, India, America, all happened on the 11th. Chances of that are, you know, 1 in the millions. So again, when does it stop being a coincidence? And I think if people have a high enough IQ level, obviously meaning they're not woke, not broke ass liberals, then stuff starts saying, you know what? Let's start digging into this. And there's nothing in the Quran or any other holy book that says anything wrong about numbers. For instance, nothing at all. The Bible, Jesus Christ died at 33. In Islam, you have 33 beads you go like this with. So the number is all over. And if you say math is bad, if you say numbers are bad, then you have to look at your Quran, your Bible, your Torah, because they're all of them have numbers in them.
You have to understand, and you're 100% correct. You have to understand God doesn't make mistakes. The way in which the universe is coded is perfect. And you can only code things with numbers. You know, when you hear different frequencies, and those different frequencies evoke different emotions in your brain or evoke different reactions in your brain, you have to understand this also as numbers, frequencies, numbers, geometry, numbers. All of this is absolutely, anywhere you look, you will see numbers. You know, when you hear certain frequencies, some frequencies are existing for the purpose of healing, for example. And, you know, the more you look into this, the more you will realize and learn that the whole world is made of frequencies like this. And when you put out a thought out there, if you put a thought out there that says, I'm a piece of shit, that is a certain frequency that it will resonate with similar frequencies, and you will get that into your
correct
more of that, you know? And you know, that's what, you know, when you hear about this law of attraction and things of that nature, there's a lot of esoteric bullshit that you know, it's easy to, you know, fall into. But the reality of the matter is that if you walk the earth generally believing you're a fucking animal and there's nothing you cannot do, I guarantee you life will smile at you significantly more than if you walk through life believing you're a piece of shit.
Fortune favors the bold, my friend. It always have, it always will.
Lucky, you will be lucky. If you think you're unlucky, you will be unlucky. Everything is fucking numbers, frequencies, geometry, anywhere you look. And the more attention you pay, the more attention you pay. And the more attention you pay, the more you realize how the world works.
And your bag gets bigger.
That's right. That's right. Fucking AIDS everywhere.
You know, listen, all you have to do, like, I'll just give one more example and we're going to move on. 28 is the number of wealth. The richest man on earth is Elon Musk, born on the 28th. Last decade, the richest man was Bill Gates, born on the 28th. Let's look at companies. Steve Jobs, born 2/24, 1955, adds up to 28. Started Apple on 4/1, 1976. That's $1 billion company. That's one of the richest companies in the world. But you know what's really rich? This is going to be a company most people never heard of. There's something called Vanguard. You know, don't worry about the $1 billion companies. That's still small potatoes. Vanguard has 9 trillion with the T dollars. And Vanguard was founded 5/1, 1975. Do the math with me. The slow people, let's do some real counting. Instead of letters, let's do with numbers. 5/1/1975 adds up to 28. 9 trillion dollars. So again, next time you doubt me, look up a rad with a Rolex, and they always have the number 28 in there. So again, you can say this is nonsense. You can say I'm full of shit. You can say anyone who says the same stuff as me is a full of shit. But you know, one question you're going to have to answer is, why do the elite, why do the people in positions of power do this? The ones who are the shot callers, the ones who actually make decisions, the ones whose opinions actually matter, believe in this. So logically, tell us the critics out there.
Bro, most people I know do C-section to make sure the kid is born on a certain date.
Just like me. 100%, my friend. Having said that, I think people, by listening to you and people who know your history, say that you're somewhat of a perfectionist. You want to get everything done to the best of your ability. And now I want to talk about something that you are creating, something you have formed, something you put a lot of work into. It is called the Circle. My friend, tell me what the Circle is.
The performance-driven society or community. At the highest level, you have the elite, those that actually very often manage the world, lead the world through very different verticals, whether it's tech, media, entertainment, politics, you name it, financial sector. And at the bottom, you have an aspirational path for those to come up, right? That's pretty much what it simplifies into. This started, actually, you know, I always talk about my circle with my people, and we always speak about the circle and how important it is to have your people that you trust close to you. And it's funny because every time I make a new company, the same people I allow to invest in the seed round. Every time I invest in companies, I invest in companies from people from my circle. Every time I connect people that I consider very high profile connections, I connect them with my inner circle, with people from my inner circle. If somebody from outside my inner circle wants a connection that is, I would consider S+ in quality, I would not make that intro. So there is just a lot to this, you know. I think look, money, everybody has money, okay? Like right now, it's so easy to make enough money to not have to work anymore and live life in full. I'm talking about 30, 40 million, right? It's not hard to make that kind of money nowadays. There's just too many things available in front of us to make that kind of money.
What do you say to someone? What do you say to someone who's dead broke right now? Someone who's making like about $15 an hour, and he hears you say it's so easy to make money and 30 to 40 million. Listen, I'm a millionaire. You're well above me when it comes down to, you know, zeros in the bank account. But what do you say to people who say, listen, I can't even make 100,000 a year?
I would tell them the same thing I realized myself pertaining becoming a football player. I would see the life of somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo and say, oh my God, that looks fucking amazing. I would love to be Cristiano Ronaldo. I would love to have everybody love me and score goals and live life like this, travel the world, World Cup, pim pam. But in reality, there's a reason why I am not Cristiano Ronaldo, and that is because I am not deploying my life into doing what Cristiano Ronaldo does, which is breathing football, which is every second of his life is invested into playing football better. I would love to be Cristiano Ronaldo when I was a kid, yeah? Or when I was much younger. I would have loved to be somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo or Zinedine Zidane or somebody like that. But what I didn't want to do is to deploy my whole life into becoming that person. So that anybody that looks at me and says, what the fuck, man, how is it so easy to make money? I would love to be that person. Well, you might want to have my money, but you don't necessarily want my life. Because you might go home at 6 o'clock and might be able to disconnect from your job, might be able to connect with your family at a deep level, might be able to have different things in life that are important to you. For me, what's important is to conquer the world. That's what makes me happy.
So the mission,
even above everything else.
The mission, that's the number one thing in your life.
The mission, 100%. Like if you give me cows and a nice farmland with my family, sure, okay, it's nice, but it's not for me, bro. I will be eternally unhappy. If you take away conquest from my life, it's like taking away my breath. It's not that I have money and as a result I conquer. No. It's I have money because my whole spirit requires me to conquer. So when people look at me with the jealous eyes, they are missing out on what it's all about, which is the long nights. Look, for example, yesterday, bro.
Okay? What time is it right now in Dubai? Hold on, stop. What time is it right now in Dubai?
It's 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. This man's doing a podcast at 1 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock. Sorry. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. This man's doing a podcast at 3 o'clock in the morning. This man is working at 3 o'clock in the morning. Everyone else is sleeping. He's out working his competition. You understand the mindset this is? Most people are going to be sleeping.
It's true, brother. It's true. And there's no right or wrong answer, bro. Okay, let me tell you something, okay? Right now, everybody is so preoccupied with trying to be someone they're not. That's why you see people making themselves bold and smoking cigars. Well, listen, brother. Not everybody
Hi, Aiden Ross.
Okay? Listen, not everybody is Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is Andrew Tate because he grew up like this. By the way, I respect Andrew Tate. I enjoy so much that he appeared out of nowhere and made a lot of people inspired to be better, okay? But now, the same way you have on the left, people that try to be someone else, so that you have on the right, you have the red pill community, same story. I think that people are so preoccupied with being somebody they're not, that they forget that the only thing that matters is to find out who they are and embracing that in full. You understand? Me wanting to conquer the world is what makes me happy. But there are some people that are born to serve. Some people that are born to follow orders. Some people that are born to nurture. Some people that are born to be happy with different ways. If I am Mahatma Gandhi, I would be fucking unhappy. I will kill myself, brother. If I cannot conquer the world my own way, like a fucking gladiator conqueror or something like this, I will kill myself.
You want competition.
Exactly.
Do you believe people have to have a competitive soul to actually get to your level?
Yes. Without a glimpse of doubt. The reason is because...
Do they need a support network? Do they need a support network? Or can they do it by themselves? For instance, I had no teacher. I built what I had with no teacher. Did you have a teacher? Did you have a mentor?
Not one person, but I always found my mentors online, through books, through watching things, through reading, through learning, through spending time by myself alone and asking whoever is up there what the answer to my questions are. I was always mentored by different angles, people.
How did you get into these people's circles? To the people who mentored you, the people who obviously were at the top of their game, because you ended up at the top of the game. So how did you find these people? What did you do to get in contact with these people? I think people would be very interested to know.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I was always fearless, and even now more than ever, actually fearless. When I am taking a flight, actually one day I had $10,000 in the bank, and I paid a business class ticket, $2,000, and which is was 20% of my net worth, and I paid it just so that I could experience what it's like to fly business, and so in that flight, it was to LA actually. In that flight, I had nearby a guy, and I was talking to him, asking him 1,000 questions. Well, that guy turned out to be one of my investors, happened to be a billionaire. And I was asking him all kinds of questions about everything. I've learned so much from people just from having making the first step of asking questions and trying to learn from them. But at the same time, there's a curse. It's a blessing and a curse to be so ambitious. The blessing is that you always get to learn from people all the time. The curse is that you see everybody as a stepping stone for the next step. So the curse is that you don't consider the thought of developing meaningful relationships with anybody that is not going to boost you forward in any capacity.
Why is that why is that a bad thing?
Well,
I mean, right. hold on. Women won't go out with a man unless they think he can financially benefit them or can do something for him. Why should a man not think of relationships as a way to positively, impact his life in a better, positive way? It seems logical to me.
Yeah, you might actually be right. But ultimately, I think to be ambitious, when you're really ambitious, you become very cutthroat with cutting relationships. And brother, if I tell you some of the stories, I will not because it's too private. But brother, I will cut anything and anybody out of my life if I feel like you're slowing me down.
Even family?
If need be.
So the mission is number one. Anyone who gets in the way of the mission gets cut off.
That's correct.
Well, that reminds me of a movie. It was called Heat. This guy, everyone knows, the 33 Life Path, Robert De Niro was the main character. And he said in that movie, if you're going to be a bank robber, you got to be able to leave everything you have, everything you love within 30 seconds or something like that. So I see the same mindset, man. If they're holding me down, no matter what, they're out. So, I mean, listen, that's going to limit the ability you have to bond with people, no doubt. But I think that's the same philosophy Elon Musk has. Elon Musk is out there. What's he buried 3-4 times? He don't give a fuck. He's out there with the mission. The mission is the number one thing. So what we see in life, even Bill Gates, he didn't give a damn about his wife. It was about his mission. So again, if your whole point is to conquer the world, and you want to do it by force, and that means getting as big a bag as possible, that might be the way you should go. Other people will find ways to influence in other ways. But this is, if you want to be in this man's shoes, this is what it takes. This is what I'm asking him questions like this, because most of you will never be in this man's shoes.
You're completely right, brother. It's what I told you, like to be somebody like Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. Like, I don't know if I wouldn't want to do what he was doing every fucking day, to be honest.
You got up at 4 o'clock every single morning. I have a lot of friends in the NBA.
It's not for me. Mm-hmm. It's not for me. It's not for me. And so the same way that is not for me, what I'm doing currently is for me. But most people would hate this life. Every hour I'm awake, I'm thinking about conquest. Every hour. How can that be healthy for somebody that is not built this way? It's not possible. You will feel internally unhappy. You would end up just having some money, enjoying, and eventually, you will just leave everything behind. I'm telling you already, I have more money than I can spend with what I'm currently doing. And that includes buying yearly cars.
Okay. So stop.
I'm still conquering.
You have more money than most people. You can already retire for the rest of your life. You got all the sports cars. You got all the women you want. What pushes you? What pushes you? Why you're in Dubai? Why don't you just chill? What pushes you?
Because one day I will die. Okay? All of us do. And the day I die, I want to know that both my family and my outsider circle, in the form of millions of people that know of my existence, will celebrate what I have accomplished in life. It's glory almost. I am driven by glory.
So I wouldn't be the only one in the world who wants his birthday to be a national worldwide holiday after he's gone. God damn it. January 7th is going to be a worldwide holiday all over after I'm done with this thing. But go ahead, my friend. It's good to know I'm not the only one thinking about this, you know, because a lot of people are like, okay, maybe there's something wrong with you. So, no, other people thinking the same way I'm doing it. Or maybe it's the people who actually are going to do something like that who have that mindset. We'll find out.
Yeah. We'll find out. And, you know, for me, the joy of the tribulations that get you there, bro, is very enjoyable. Like yesterday, I was about to tell you before, but something else happened. I had a cold yesterday, a strong cold. I had 39 degrees. What's that in Fahrenheit? I don't fucking know, but it's terrible, you know? Had nightmares the whole night, forced myself to sleep 14 hours, and now I'm like a flower. Look at me right now, like a fucking flower working. But the truth is that
you didn't need any either, did you?
No.
Just natural immunity. Look at that. It works. This is brought to you by fuck you, Pfizer. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, bro. I don't know what point I was trying to make, but the point ultimately, bro, is that what drives us gives us the meaning for life. Yeah. And oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, is the contrast. Okay. Yesterday, we feeling like shit. Okay. Absolute shit, bro. I was feeling like absolute fucking shit. But I was in the bed and I told myself, you know what? I actually enjoy this. Why do I enjoy this? Because tomorrow I will not be sick. So if I would always not be sick, I would not enjoy what not being sick is. If every day is sunny, you don't enjoy it when it's really sunny. If every day is happy, you don't enjoy it when the day is happy.
I gotta disagree, brother. I have sex with a beautiful woman every day, and I enjoy doing that every single day. So maybe in most cases, my friend, I'll leave that one exception.
Okay, maybe that one. I'll give it to you because it's your woman. Of course, I'm sure it's absolutely wonderful, and I'm sure you're happy. For me, I need my 2-3 different weeklies. You know?
I got you, brother.
That gives me the happiness, Yanni.
I got you, brother. I got you.
But it's the contrast. Is the contrast of life.
You're also a Gemini, my friend. Gemini is out there in the streets like that, man. Donald Trump, you know. How could I say that? Pimp hand strong. No, I'm being dead serious. I want people to know this. Women who are listening, if you marry a Gemini, if you're a man and you marry a Gemini, understand this. Maybe married life ain't for you. I'll put that out there. You know, it is what it is.
Listen, I can't do, normally, in different circumstances, not knowing what I know, I might want to disagree with you at times, but because I know that everything I've heard from you just turned out to be either true or unknown to me, then I have to give you always the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, if this motherfucker says Gemini shouldn't marry, then okay, I understand.
Listen, everything is about timing. Everything is about knowing when to do the right things and when not to do the right things. Half of numerology and astrology is making sure you don't step on that line mine, making sure you don't mess up because it's not your time. Timing is everything. Going back to your boy. Tate's born 86, year of the tiger. When he get famous? 2022 year of the tiger. It's all about energy. It's not just him. Mr. Beast, who's born in 1998 year of the tiger, last year got $1 billion evaluation. $1 billion. Why? Because he's pushing that garbage. By the way, if you look at Mr. Beast logo, the same colors as a flag. Always understand, when people have no talent and they're famous for absolutely no reason, they cut a deal.
And you know, bro, there is something about the different religions uniting in this time, the different content creators that might not share 100% of ideals, but at least share common enemy or have common enemy. There's something to be said about these groups uniting, as opposed to having, you know, internal mud fights in the middle of these times where, you know, I feel like there's time to push back. And my belief is that the West cannot push back enough to what's coming. But there has to be some kind of pushback, brother, because otherwise...
There is pushback. See, the beauty of the United States of America is also its weakness. The weakness is a place like California, a place like New York can get overrun by liberals in their state Congress, their governors. But the also beauty of this system is you have states like Texas, you have states like Florida, where you can have like-minded people who are conservative, who believe in family values, who actually believe in stuff that is called capitalism, not crony capitalism, not socialism, not the other garbage that's going around, but real capitalism. And there are places they exist in the West, especially the states I called. I mean, there's a lot of conservative places in America. The beauty of this system is the top, the very top, cannot force their ideals on the bottom. That's the beauty of American democracy, which is actually a republic. We don't actually believe in mob rule here. If we did, it would be a whole different story. But, you know, you also have to understand that people in this country, and I want to, you know, push back a little bit for the international audience. We didn't put Joe Biden in power. Joe Biden freaking election from Donald Trump. So again, the American people did not want this garbage and everything that went with Trump. There's no war if Donald Trump is president. I guarantee you. I promise you. And last thing I'm going to say.
Well, that's why he's in jail now. That's why they want to put him in jail.
Well, of course. Well, listen, all revolutionaries have been in jail at some point. You know, even I've been in jail at some point. So, you know, it happens, man. I keep telling people when I was younger, before numerology and everything, I knocked out a cop. So, again, if when I run for president, it's going to get me half the black vote. And I don't even have to be Black Lives Matter, brother. You know, one of the things I teach about numerology and astrology is, yes, my tenets of GG33 are numerology and astrology, but number 3 is capitalism. There's no compromise. I do not compromise with people on that. I do not compromise with socialists. I do not want to be around socialists. I do not want to be around communists. The only good communist is a dead one. You have to understand, that's how it has to be. Communists are nothing more than lazy people, nothing more than bloodthirsty murderers who want to be legally allowed to steal. To steal. And it's only the people who are lazy inside Western culture, who never been outside this country, who want socialism. Go to Venezuela and see what socialism is. It's eating out of a trash can. That's what socialism is. You have to understand, people have to have an incentive to do better. They have to have a reason to want to do better. And the reason is that pot of gold, that bag at the end of the tunnel. In socialism, it's equality through poverty. That's all it is. That's all it's ever been. My daddy came from the Soviet Union. He told me I ran away from the communists. But when America goes, you'll have nowhere to run. I ain't running. We're here in the state of Florida, and guess what? We're legally allowed to have AR-15s down here. Holla.
You know, I love that I'm free enough to laugh at your half-racist jokes. I love it.
Sarcasm is a Capricorn trait.
I love it, bro. I love it. You know, but if I was still the CEO of my company, still my company, I wouldn't have been able to laugh. I would have needed to cut it short, maybe mute and take off the video and then laugh.
You got some handcuffs off you now. You're more free.
Oh, brother, I am free. You know what Carlos means? Check it online. It means valiant and free man. That's what Carlos, which is my name, means. Free man and valiant.
Where were you born?
What?
Where were you born?
Madrid, Spain.
Madrid, Spain. Okay. Do you still go home to Spain sometimes or not?
I only go to Spain to spend money and show off.
Okay. Can I tell you, I have one of my heroes actually is from Spain.
Who is that?
General Franco.
Okay, understandable.
You understand why, okay? That man put a lot of communists in the ground. He will always be a hero. I actually teach my son about General Franco, and he's only 10 years old. Because there's a few people in history who put that many communists in the ground. And, from 1939, I think until the early 70s, he ran Spain. It wasn't until he gave it up to the royal family that they started fucking shit up.
That is right. Another royal family means nothing, just like in the UK.
No, well, in the UK, they probably mean a little bit more behind the scenes than, the ones in Spain. But anyways, let's go back. Let's go back to the circle, because I don't think we really talked enough about that. You basically are going to open a platform, and it's already open, or it's about to open. And it's basically a self-help. Now, so you have stuff out there like The Real World. You have stuff out there. How is your stuff going to be different than others?
Well, very different. First of all, it's aspirational. In other words, somebody like me, I would never want to enter one of these e-commerce groups or one of these, learning platforms or anything like that. Why? Because I already made it. What would be the fucking purpose of me entering any of these groups? So I am solving my own problem, which is what would be a group that I would enter that would be valuable to me. But then I also want to make sure I solve the mass market problems, because that's how you make money. Right? How you make money is by ensuring that the people, quote unquote, at the bottom, you solve a problem to them. And this way you ensure that the company has revenue, right? So at the highest level, I'm solving my own problem. At the lowest level, I'm solving everybody else's problem, which is giving them an aspirational path to become part of that inner circle, right? So nothing like this exists at the moment.
Okay, so let me stop for 1 second. Let me stop for 1 second, just so people can catch on. So unlike other platforms where you have people teaching you e-commerce, this is going to be nothing like that. Eventually, you're going to have people at the top, and you have people who aspire to get to the top. What does the top consist of? What does that mean?
At the top, you have the leaders of different segments of the world. If you have a problem that cannot be solved with money, somebody in the inner circle can solve that problem. And I'm telling you that from also absolute confidence. Whether you're going to the absolute best restaurant in the world where you need 3 months waiting time, you go there, you say reservation under the circle. If you are indeed part of that inner circle, you will get the best table in short notice, without a glimpse of doubt. You want a Bugatti Mistral, for example. I'm just making up an example, okay? You want a Bugatti Mistral. There might be 100 out there only. Well, the circle can get a Bugatti Mistral. I'm just, again, simplifying what this is all about.
So you're
at the highest level, at the highest level, money cannot solve our problems.
I gotcha. So at the very highest level, you have people who are the best of the best at their professions, who basically can solve problems that money can't solve for the average person?
Correct.
Okay.
However, at the bottom, Mateusz Cygulski from Poland, 17 years old, doesn't know shit about anything. He needs to build himself up, not only in terms of money making, but also understanding how life works at this highest level. How will people even acknowledge your existence? How will you be able to network with people? What are some of the rules that you have to follow, written and unwritten? What are some of the obvious things you need to work on when speaking with somebody? What type of body language you need to deploy when speaking with somebody that is a humble billionaire versus somebody that is an out there
that right there is important right there. How we distinguish different personality types, because it's not
100%.
one size fit all. I love these fake gurus out there who say, follow my method, and this one method is going to work for everyone. That's not how life works. Okay.
Doesn't work. But same goes, when you are out, you see a beautiful woman, the way you talk to a beautiful woman wearing certain kind of dress, certain kind of walking, like the way she walks, who is she with, is very different than the way you talk to a woman that is wearing perhaps more classic clothes, is by herself, maybe looking at the phone. It's about reading the room, understanding through empathy how to connect with people, And people think that you need to be incredibly skilled in one specific vertical in order to be very successful. But that is not always the case. In fact, most of the times that is not true. Most of the times to be liked gets you halfway there. Just liked. If people at a high level like you, I guarantee you will grow up in the ladder of life.
Yeah,
once people like you, they will want to spend time with you. They will want to go out with you for dinner. And once you spend time with these people, you have conversations with them, you will learn what life is about. You will learn how to talk to people. You will learn how to connect topics. You will learn about whatever topics these rich people or successful people talk about. And you will learn about how the world really works, how the Federal Reserve works, how the world works, why these are, you will learn everything if you spend a long enough time frame with powerful enough people.
When it comes down to the circle, let's not name, we don't have to name names or anything, but why are they interested in doing this, and why are they joining your platform, not someone else's?
Because I have not only me, but also people within my circle have a long history of credibility, reputational advantage, and not only making people money, but showing ourselves capable and competent and reliable and honorable within many different verticals in life. So ultimately, everybody at the highest level wants to be surrounded by people of their kind. That is why people go to private schools. That is why people go into gated communities. That is why people don't want to deal with people that are not in their level financially, in terms of awareness, or whatever it is. That's how it works. And this is no different than that. This is our gated community. However, there's one difference, which is that we understand somebody can build himself up to become part of that once they know enough about how the world operates. And maybe, only maybe, if they are the kind of person whose life path leads to becoming part of that inner circle because they thrive to be competent in a specific vertical, or because they thrive to be extraordinary in something, then they will reach up there. If they are not that kind of person, they will realize somewhere along the road that this is not for them. And maybe they should just fucking get house and be happy milking them.
Yeah, get a house, be happy, working a part-time job and working a graveyard shift while your wife is out there opening your legs to another man. Then you come home, she's pregnant, got to get divorced, she's going to take half your shit. Sounds about right? Those are problems I'm never going to have, because I'm a numerologist, astrologer. Those are problems this man's not going to have because he has his experience and one he knows. But in all honesty, when people look at everything you accomplished in life, what would you tell people is your major accomplishment?
Jesus, a very nice question, bro. My major accomplishment.
Probably not the question you want at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm working, brother. I'm working here. We try to get something for the audience.
It's good, bro. It makes my things turn. Really, I think, man, you have no idea what level of pressure I went through when I was about to lose everything I worked for 17 years. And trust me, when you fight against billionaires, and not only billionaires but very powerful people, and things can get legal, you can lose everything very quickly, very quickly. And when I mean everything, I mean really everything. And
what kind of money are we talking about so people understand?
200 million at that moment in time.
Okay, so that's Patrick. That's Patrick Bet David money. About $300 million right there. That's serious dough.
And but you know, I proved myself that when those moments come, I am still true to myself. I am still true to the person I am. I have enough integrity to keep my beliefs untouched and my moral compass untouched, regardless of the amount of money I could possibly lose. And
so you're not going to sell out for money?
Never. And every man dreams of what would you do if you're charging to battle. Like many times I dream about, I am the first charging to battle. I am the king of the village. Really, that's how I think about this, yeah, or the country, or the whatever it is. And I'm charging to battle with my army. I always dream, would I really charge to battle with my army if I was the king? Would I really not sacrifice who I am for some kind of success or time, you know? And this moment taught me that I am a real man, that I have big balls, and I come before all the goodness, all the money, all the fame, all the blah, you know? My own belief system comes before.
You know, in 2010, I was a local celebrity in Cleveland, Ohio. And I told everyone in Cleveland that LeBron James was leaving. And the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers called in and he said I was a liar and he wasn't going anywhere. And then the next week, LeBron James left. The guy basically made a fool of himself. So for revenge, he got me fired from my radio job. He called the producer and he said, a station owner, and he said, if you don't pull this guy's job, we're going to pull all your credentials from the Cavs. So obviously they had to do what they had to do. So this is 2010. Billionaire got me fired and I had to figure out how to get revenge. So I started going to NBA summer leagues in Las Vegas, and I started walking around with pamphlets explaining how numerology works. Within that year, within 2 years, I got hooked up with people who had influence over NBA players. I talked one NBA player and his team into going and signing with Golden State Warriors in 2013. Again, I talked this team into it. This player helped this team win multiple championships. And the best part, he beat the Cleveland Cavaliers and the owner who got me fired.
Man, I would be honest, bro. You're petty as fuck.
I'm petty as hell, brother. Really I'm petty as hell. And you know what? That's a part of me I really, really like. because I'm a petty man. But let me tell you something. Are you not going to try to get people even for what they did to you?
Yeah. I mean, I listen. I think there is something to be said about ensuring everybody around you knows you are unfuckwithable.
There you go.
Really, there is something to be said about that. And I tell you, me and my brother have this slogan, yeah, nobody fucks us. People have to know, I don't give a fuck what's written in the contract. If you fuck me, there is nothing in the contract that can save you. I'm so sorry, but this is how it works. I don't care where you live. Baghdad, Lebanon, I don't care. If you fuck me and you go beyond what's reasonably accepted between two men, then you have to understand there's consequences to every action.
100%. Brother, I think you earned the respect of a lot of people watching this podcast. But right now, what you just said, you didn't say any bullshit. You said what came from the heart, what you believed. And a lot of people feel the same way, but you had the guts to say it. So again, that says a lot about you. And one thing we know about people who are born in horse years like you is they're fucking revolutionaries. People who are born in horse years like to make noise. They're rebels. As a matter of fact, Vladimir Lenin started the Russian Revolution. He was a horse. Hugo Chavez started the revolution in Venezuela. He was a horse. Nelson Mandela started the revolution in South Africa. He was a horse. Muammar Gaddafi, horse. So when it comes down to you, that's the mindset you have. You want to disrupt things, correct?
That's right. That's right. You know, the slogan in G2, where the G2 is the esports company I built. The slogan was, whether you love us or you hate us, you will definitely watch us.
You can love me or hate me, you will respect me. I think that's one of the things, you know, no matter who, you know, people hated Napoleon, but every single general who lost Napoleon, even the general who beat Napoleon, the Duke of Wellington, in Waterloo in 1815, they all said he was the best because people respected him.
Man, how fucking powerful is that? Like when your enemies understand, look, I hate this cunt, but kudos to him.
Yeah, the Duke of Wellington, who defeated Napoleon at Waterloo, his last battle. He basically said, this is the best guy. He had it outnumbered, and Napoleon was very sick that day. He had ulcers that day. That's probably, if he was healthy, they probably won. You know, and that changed the course of history because certain people took over banking interest in 1815, and game is over. And then you have the Federal Reserve that gets created in 1913. And then the same group that controlled Europe.
Man, the butterfly effect.
The same group that controlled Europe in 1815 gained the bank, got the control of the Bank of England, then got the Federal Reserve. And after 1913, guess what? World War I, 1914. So as soon as they get control of all of the money, boom! And it's one thing to know history. You know, you have to know America was founded in 1776. You have to know things like that. But there's something called history and victor's history. And the victor's history is what they teach in the schools. The real history is, why did Germany actually go to war? Why did the Ottoman Empire join sides with Germany when they knew it was a losing battle? Those are the things you have to understand. And when you start looking at the things, you start understanding there's societies in the world that people don't talk about. And these societies have secrets, whether it be bone and skulls or what some people call the Babylonian Brotherhood, Illuminati. There is a certain group that controls everything at the very top. And if you don't believe me, understand this. It didn't matter if you're in Dubai. It didn't matter if you were America, a capitalist country, Canada, a socialist country, China, a communist country, Russia, whatever the hell it is, a mob rule country. It didn't matter where you were in the world. They all shut it down because of. And that only leads to one logical conclusion if you have an IQ above 90 and you're not woke. And that logical conclusion is this: there's someone at the top who's puppeteering everything. That's what you have to know.
I have a question for you, brother. What these topics, you know, I mean, we spoke about this in private. There are topics that get you suicided.
Not this one.
I think it gets fucking close.
Not this one. Let me tell you why that's not the case anymore. They only suicide. They only suicide crypto billionaires now. They do not suicide people for politics. The reason that is because it's called the Malcolm X effect. When the U.S. government teamed with the Nation of Islam to take out Malcolm X, what happened was the FBI arrested all of Malcolm X's bodyguards, and the Nation of Islam and Louis Farrakhan took care of the rest. What happened after Malcolm X was killed was there was something called the Black Panthers, the Reformed. And that was a thorn in the side, in America's side, for 20-25 years. So basically, these people have evolved. The governments have evolved. They do not put bullets in people like that anymore because they don't want a martyr effect. What they do is what they did to Kanye. They basically make the person look like a moron. They shut down his bank accounts. They cancel him. They make the people who support him look like morons. Why would you support this man? Look what he did. Look what he did. They try to shame the people who support him. Bro, and that, my friend, is a lot more effective than pulling bullets in people. The governments have evolved. Now, if you're going to be someone who's doing some CIA type stuff, okay, they might do something like that to you. If you're going to be a crypto billionaire who thinks he can move the markets without asking permission, yeah, you might end up dead on a beach in Costa Rica. But with politics, much more effective ways now. Now it's psychological. So no, I do not fear anything of this. Let's not forget, I had Barack Obama's brother in this studio where I'm talking to you 4 weeks ago. We're talking about the shadow president of the United States. So no, brother, I don't fear much.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I would argue that being deleted is a better outcome than being, you know, maybe thrown in jail and put under immense stress with untrue with untrue accusations and whatever. I mean, we see what's happening right now with the Tates, right?
Okay.
And again,
you want to bring up the Tates? Let's make this abundantly clear. I don't like the Tates, but I never said they were guilty of anything that they were accused of. If you believe Andrew Tate is going to be a rapist with all the women he can get, that's just illogical. Do I think the guy's an asshole? Hell yeah. But again, he's not guilty of anything. But you know what his problem is? He went on social media and he didn't pay rent. He just took over the platforms without paying rent. They didn't like that. You can't have 50,000 people posting 7 videos a day on TikTok and IG and not pay the landlord. That's what they got pissed off about. You can't do things like that. See, when you make money, you have to spread a little bit of the money around, especially to the people who run things. If Andrew Tate made one mistake, it was that he didn't reach out and offer the people at the very top running those internet platforms like Facebook, like IG. Yo, here's some of my money. Or as a matter of fact, don't monetize me. Take this, take a piece of this. He took it. He rose up too quickly. And what happens when you rise up too quickly is you're going to fall like a hot air balloon. So if he made a mistake, in my opinion, he made big tech mad. And if you look at the first time they raided his house, that was around the same time the U.S. government and Romania cut a deal for tanks. Go look it up. His house got raided April 2022, and the U.S. American government and Romanian government cut a deal for the first time for Bradley tanks. So again, the big tech didn't like what he was doing. They put pressure on the American government. The American government put pressure on Romania. And that's why I was able to make a tweet that said, by the end of the year, Tate's going to get arrested, whether he's guilty of something or not. And that's exactly what happened. You have to understand how to look between the lines. Big tech was not happy. They paid someone off in the U.S. government. U.S. government cuts a deal with Romania, sends them tanks, and all they need to do is shut this guy down. So again, that's what I believe that happened from the people I talked to. If anyone is ever in Tate's position again, make sure you offer the landlord some of your milk money. Would probably be what I believe.
Isn't it funny that everybody that is in the same wavelength as Tate is, or many people like Tate? I want to say people like you. I want to say people like Tucker Carlson. I want to say people, like this kind of wavelength, all end up accused of similar things.
I'm not around other women. I don't drink. I'm never around any type of environment like that. You know, one thing I respect about Vice President Pence, I don't respect much about him, but he said he was never going to put himself in a compromising position. You have to expect these bitches are going to lie. Yeah, you have to expect stuff like that. Don't put yourself in compromising positions. There's no one's going to look in my past and find anything compromising except maybe I smoked some weed and I hit a cop when I was younger. That's it. Got to be very careful with your surroundings. And
Yeah, but that doesn't think. I mean, of course, everybody, people are the way they are, and nobody is here to judge anybody, obviously, right? But ultimately, if you think about it, it's just funny that the same people are accused of, or similar people are accused of similar things. It's almost like that's the new way of killing people. Like you said, yes. They don't kill them anymore to make them martyrs. Now they just make sure they look like shit, they look pathetic, and they look undesirable for society, and they do that with the same exact strategy and tactic.
1950s, they put a bullet in Tate, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. They make him out to be a martyr, and all the people who actually loved him stay loving him. And this way, some of the people will believe the accusations. They'll fall off. His clout will fall off. This is what they want. All you can say, is thank you for Elon Musk, because Elon Musk has done a lot to honestly bring me back. I was suspended 18 times. He got a lot of people back. So Thank you to Elon Musk for buying Twitter. By the way, he bought Twitter for $44 billion. 4 and 4 is 8. 8 is the number of money. So numerology again. I'm always going to put the 2 cents in there, brother.
It's good. It's very good. What do you think about the fact that he put the World Economic Forum executive as CEO? What do you think that means?
I think that Elon Musk needed money in 2010, and Barack Obama, as the head of the U.S. government, wrote him a check for $500 million. And if he doesn't get that money in 2010, Tesla is not there. And that money saved Tesla. And I think because of that, he owes people favors. If you notice that the one person he always praises is Barack Obama. Always praise for Mr. Obama. When it comes to Trump, when it comes to Biden, especially Biden, a lot of negative stuff. So again, I'm not accusing Mr. Musk of anything negative. I'm just saying when people give you favors and save your ass, sometimes people will return the favor down the road.
Yeah, understandable. It's just a little scary if you think about it. That the one place we have now to speak freely is, it's compromised. It is compromised. You can't deny it.
How do you think you get $250 billion? I mean, listen, you might know a couple, you might know a couple billionaires. I know a couple billionaires, but there's a difference between having 1 billion to 10 billion to having 100 billion. You know, anyone with $100 billion, like the Waltons, like the people who, Zuckerberg, all of these people, they have allegiances to people. Okay, you don't get there by mistake. If you believe Zuckerberg wrote the code to Facebook in some dorm institution when he was broke, you got another thing coming. Okay, that never happened, man. That man was propped up just like every other man was propped up.
That explains a lot why a lot of crypto billionaires die like this. Think about this, okay? The problem for those in power from crypto is that crypto can be used in ways where money is not tracked.
Correct.
That means that you can literally just do some crazy shit, like go to Panama and just raise an army of 10,000 people with crypto, and you just destroy the world or just make the world different like that. However, the difference between having 1 billion and having 230 billion, like Elon Musk has, or however many billion he has, is really nothing, because that money can be frozen like this. If you invest right now from your bank, you take the money out of your bank and you put it on Bitcoin, you do 2x, then you bring the money back to your bank, the bank freezes the money. In most places on the planet. I mean, in most places in the Western world right now. Try it. Try it.
Elon Musk has his own lane in U.S. Customs at the border with Mexico. So again, there's normal people, there's Walmart, there's all the other stores, and then there's Tesla. Tesla has their own lane going in and out of Mexico from the United States. So again, you want to talk about pull? That's stuff that people can't pull. That is only what the richest man in the world can pull. You know, I mean, if we're going to be honest, Putin has more money than him. But at the end of the day, Musk literally raised $44 billion in cash, liquid, to buy Twitter. Do you understand what kind of power you have to reach that type of money? There's only pretty much 2 organizations that can get that type of money: BlackRock and Vanguard. Only 2. Yes. And one person, Elon Musk.
But it's different because he paid that with cash, with loans. He has to get the loans from someone. So whoever gives the loans is the real boss.
Of course. 100%, man. So who gave the real loans? Who runs the banks? Well, I'm not going to go into it, but the last thing I'll say is...
Please not. I enjoy my life. Okay? But I have a theory. I have a theory, okay? I was thinking about it the other day. Like, so Andrew and Tristan are right now in jail. We don't know what's going to happen, right? But the truth is that if you think about the aftermath of all of this, do you think if those in power would want them dead, wouldn't they be dead already?
No.
100%.
No.
100%.
They
bro,
changed.
100%.
They changed things. They don't kill people anymore.
No, wait. My point being, if they wanted them to die, they would have killed them already.
Yeah, okay.
Because they can get to anybody as fast as they want. I think right now, Tate is letting the world know what happens when you attack the system or when you are against the system so openly, and is the best marketing tool for the system itself. Because what he's showing to everybody is, hey, look at me, I'm fucked because I refused to comply. And instinctively, everybody just goes to the path of least resistance and want to survive. Therefore, they become compliant.
I see what you're saying, but he also made a mistake. He went back to Romania. He was untouchable in Dubai. No one ever would have touched him. No one ever would have arrested him. He went to Romania. He didn't have to take that risk. So we do have to say that that was a mistake. Whatever happened, that was a mistake.
Sure. But if
second, one more thing. Second, that little pizza box thing he did against Greta, that is the grandchild of someone very, very powerful in the world. And they probably didn't appreciate that too much. There's certain people even I won't talk shit about. Certain people you won't talk shit about. And I certainly ain't going to talk shit about their family members either. So, again,
bro, I love Greta. I love electric cars. In fact, I'm about to buy an SF90. It's not fully electric. It's hybrid, David. But, it's hybrid. It's half Greta. OK, I'm buying a half Greta car. OK, so at least cut me some slack, Gary.
Good job, my friend. Well done. You're okay, man. Listen, at some points in life as a man, you have to know when to back off. That's some points in life you're going to have to do that. Everyone's got to know when their breaking point is. I know for a fact that there's certain things in the world, even though I'm probably a big mouth and I run my mouth more than anyone. If you check out my Twitter, you probably know that. I'm very vocal about what I believe in. But at the end of the day, not everyone's going to be like me. Not everyone's going to be like our friend over here who does what he does. What you people need to do is fix your circle. Like he was talking about his circle, you have to fix your circle. And your circle consists of your close friends, your family, your kids, and try to make a difference in their world, whether it be through hard work, whether it be through education, whether it be through sports, whatever it is, enhance the people around you. Because you have to understand the number one goal of the government is to destroy the family unit. Once the family unit's gone, it's gone. And that is why I've thrown so much support to Islam over the past. I'll never be a Muslim, but I agree with a lot of aspects of Sharia law. I agree because it makes common sense to me. That's what people have to understand. The family unit is the most important unit. You want to stop the New World Order? What do you think? You're going to raise an army and beat these guys? Gaddafi had $500 billion. He had a 1,000-man army, modern equipment. He lasted 9 months against NATO. You're not going to beat these guys by force. How you do it is through the youth. There was a Roman emperor. His name was Constantine. And this Roman emperor lived in a time when there was three other emperors. And he had the smallest army. He had the least amount of gold, but he won. And the reason he won is because the people in the other emperor's armies believed in what he believed in. He believed in Christianity. The people on his side believed in Christianity. So religion, a belief in something, was stronger than loyalties to their emperor. And that is why Constantine, a Pisces, in the age of Pisces, basically unified Rome, unified the Roman emperor, and he basically took over. And he did it because people believed in him and they had faith like him. So never safe faith is something that can't get stuff done. But the only difference between them and now is that was the age of Pisces, and now we're in the age of Aquarius. And the age of Aquarius is the age of higher thinking. So while I believe Islam will be the only religion that grows to keep a check and balance on the coalition, the mafia, as everything has to be pendulum like this, we still live in a time where we have more enlightened people than any time in human history. The problem is yin yang. We live in a time where there's more devolved people throughout human history. There's people cutting off their goddamn penis because they're being brainwashed. Can you imagine the level of brainwashing that has to go on to get someone to do something like that? The boys at Langley must be really proud of themselves that they actually got that much propaganda. They have women cutting off their genitals because they believe they're a man. This is not the way forward. No matter what you believe, this is not the way forward. And like this man said, I might not be a Muslim, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that is the attitude that Americans and Europeans who still have common sense need to have. I want to spend a special shout out to people in Michigan, the great state of Michigan. There is a city in Michigan that outlawed flags during Pride Month. And that city in Michigan had a Muslim mayor and a Muslim city council. Bravo. Bravo. You know, I kind of, you know, I kind of want to be where you're at sometimes, even though I'm in the greatest place in America, Miami, in my opinion. There's still garbage that goes around here that would never go around in Dubai.
Bro, I tell you, this is a dream come true. Anywhere I go, Starbucks, street, beach, anywhere. Not everybody's rich in Dubai because the outskirts of Dubai are not for rich people. There's
poor people got to live somewhere.
Like this. Exactly. And those people work for the rich people, right? Or work in the service industry, right? And these people don't have money. In fact, the basic salary is very low. Uber drivers, very low. It's enough for them to send money back to Pakistan or stuff like that. But it's not high enough to live in actually Dubai, yeah? But I tell you already, even at that level, of course, there's scams, there's bad people everywhere, yeah? But there is an underlying level of respect that, of course, is accentuated by the very strong laws. But the very strong laws are there because of the baseline of respect that religion brings forward. And actually, Islam is the one religion that it happens to be the most welcoming for all the other religions. And I can tell you
that could be argued. That could be argued.
Fair enough. Fair enough. There's a lot of stories that would agree with me. But let's imagine it's not the number one. Let's imagine the number three. It doesn't matter.
Whatever. Go ahead.
Point is, they are quite happy with the existence of other religions. And in fact, some of the most prominent figures in Islam throughout history have embraced the existence of the rest of the religions. Of course, there's big crazy people everywhere, right? But ultimately, what you have here in Dubai is a baseline of respect between people. And you have in Dubai a baseline of understanding of values, family values, things like if you're walking with your woman anywhere, there's a baseline of respect that people just don't look. People just don't look. Really, they don't look at your woman. She doesn't have to wear the hijab in full for people not to look at your woman. There's a baseline of respect that in the West is straight up unheard of. Baseline of respect towards women as well. The level of respect people have when speaking to women. There's no catcalling. There's no catcalling here. There's no fucking, just making noises to a woman. It's not well seen. It's socially not accepted.
But how many single women do you have raising kids there too?
Not many.
So again, one leads to the other, okay? I always tell people, respect women treat whores like they're supposed to be treated.
However, in the West, it is, because with what you just said, it is implied that the man leaves. But in fact, it is proven that most
100%
in the West, most couples don't remain alive because the woman leaves. That is the truth for most couples.
100%.
Data back. So I think that I'm not saying if the woman.
Bill Gates' wife left him. Elon Musk's wife left him. Some of the richest men in the world, when it leaves them.
Yeah, exactly.
Luckily, I have numerology and astrology, and I don't have those problems. Yeah,
I mean, you have. It's a superpower that you are very curious. It's a superpower to be curious, like you are, about this specific topic, because I'm sure the quality of your life and those around you will be improved as a result. And I mean, many people that watch your content, if they truly consume and digest your content, their lives will be better. That's why if you die tomorrow, you die happy, because you're doing good.
I agree. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make it past tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure that, listen, 500 million views on TikTok and IG this year. While that's not tiger numbers, we'll get there.
I hope you become very fucking large. I hope you kill it, bro.
2025.
Good things should happen to good people to encourage others to do good things. And yes, good things also means making money, because making money is good if you have a good heart. If you have a good heart and you have money, you make good things with it.
Again, no poor man ever changed the world while he was alive. And you have to understand, you have to get your bag and then do what's your passion. Very few people get to do that in life. If you're a woman, listen to me carefully, man. You don't even know what true love is until you have a kid. Stop all these games. Stop all this going to work. Find yourself a man who can take care of you and go out there and raise the kids and be happy. Don't be like these 40, 50-year-old women who finally realized after they have no kids, they have no man, they have nothing but a cat and they're Oprah, that they got played at 50, 40 years old. Don't be like that.
Miserable. They're fucking miserable, bro. Miserable. I don't care who you are. If you're, as a woman, if you're 50 and have nothing to show for in the form of a family, there is no way in hell that you have a deep level of happiness. I refuse to believe, unless your energy is so masculine, somehow you just got, upon birth, a lot of masculine energy in you, and you just want to conquer the world and be ambitious and blah. I'm sure those exist, but I think woman's energy is so different. It's caring, it's soft, it's loving, it's different, bro. It's different.
Numerology basically shows you how the family unit should act. One is male energy, the aggressor. That's why male, first vowel A, aggression, first vowel A. You have that male energy, which is one. Two is the female, the sensitive. That's why beta starts with B, which is the second letter. That's why bitch starts with B, the second letter. So you have 1 and 2. 1 and 2 together make 3. 3 is the childlike energy. Child starts with C. C is the third letter. And now let's do it all together. 1 male, 2 female, 3 child. 1, 2, 3 adds up to 6. And 6 is the number of home and family. Numerology supports the family unit. So again, if people don't understand what's going on, you can't have 2 + 2 = 3. 1 + 1 will never equal 3, no matter what type of propaganda they're giving you. We live in a day and age where you have to read between the lines. And I can't say this strongly enough. Never, ever trust the government. No one has killed more people than their own government. Lastly, communists have killed more people than anyone on this face of this earth. Joseph Stalin killed 50 million people. His mentor, Lenin, killed 5 million people. Mao Zedong killed another 50 million with the Great Leap Forward. Know your history. Know that communists have and will always be the enemy. And know that humans need an incentive. They need an incentive to be a better man, an incentive to go out there and conquer like Carlos Smith. He would not want to conquer if there is no incentive. If he lived in a communist nation, there'll be no reason for him to conquer. That would mean all that male energy, that leadership within him and other men, all that testosterone that says, I want to fucking rule, gone like that, because there's no incentive. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what communist robs you of. That's where only the top 1%, not where me, someone who parent came here in 1970s from the Soviet Union, dirt poor, used to ride his bike in the snow to get to work as an immigrant. And now his son's a multi-millionaire. That is what America's all about. That is what capitalism is all about. And that is what we are all about.
It's real, bro. It's real. Very good. Very good. I mean, well, made me very happy to hear.
I got to give my monologues, brother. I got to give them out. Anyways, brother, listen, it's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast. How do people get a hold of you? How do people join the circle? How do people better their lives? Tell us. Twitter
at CarlosR. I tweet all kinds of stuff, but I mostly like to have fun. Instagram at Ocelote World. This is just, if you're a jealous person that hates Ferraris and Lamborghinis, don't follow. I am very quiet about my private life with women, that is, because it's just the way I like things to be. So you will not find much of that. But yeah, it's a show-off account, okay? It's majorly for me to show a woman my Instagram and she gets surprised and blah. Honestly, there's no other reason, because I don't fucking do business with Instagram, okay? Now, the circle is jointhecircle.ai. Just put your email address in there and then see what comes.
Can you leave a link to the circle in the next tweet you made? So when people actually see this, they can join and stuff like that.
I'll do that. I'll do just that.
Anyways, brother, listen, I appreciate your time. You've been a valuable guest. I think a lot of people have learned from you. Quite inspiring, some of the stuff you said. The state went after this man. They tried to cancel him, and he did not bend the knee. As a matter of fact, he said, "Mwah, fuck you." And he's still going to get his bag. Right. You know, it's one thing. Right. It's one thing in this world to actually make it because you kiss someone's ass, or if you're a woman like the Vice President of the United States, you open your legs to the right people. It's one way to make it like that, and a lot of people have. But to make it your way, like Frank Sinatra, that, my friends, that's what legends are built of. Carlos, it was a pleasure to have you.
Before you let this go of the podcast, okay? For anybody out there that generally believes that all this numerology stuff is all bullshit and it's a woman's thing and blah, blah, I gotta tell you, I've been putting this in motion for a long time. In fact, on the 28th of June, I'm launching 2 companies. Not 1, 2. The way I'm pricing things add up to 8. You name it, okay? So in 28th of June, obviously, the Join the Circle launches, but also Shiva Saga, which is my blockchain games company. Open. Look, actually, this is a golden necklace that I made with the Shiva Saga logo. Okay.
Oh, kitty! I like the kitty in the cat ear.
One Shia. There you go. No, there you go. And on the 28th as well. So I'm putting it in motion. People like me are putting it in motion.
Believe
We're
that.
Not driving fucking Volkswagen Golf GTI 2.0 from 1998. I tell you that, okay? And things are good to us. We're happy people, and we're doing it. So if you can listen to a single fucking word I'm going to say, just deploy numerology slowly as you learn it into your life. Open your fucking ears.
Brother, couldn't have said it better myself. This has been the GG33 production. I love it.